Garcia did. And I was like, what the hell was I thinking?
But you needed a little push.
Well,
Somebody picked you up on the side of the road and said, "You need to join the army, kid." Wasn't that the story?
Yeah. Army recruiter picked me up hitchhiking after working at Peterbilt and getting laid off at 18.
oh,
Yeah, he saw that coming. Jeez. Anyway, your story. Army.
so anyway, I'm in the Army with Carl and Jerry. We'd been playing together and stuff. We go in on the buddy system, and we go to Fort Ord and go through the training. And we were in a special forces platoon, unfortunately, because if you're on the buddy system, we're going to stick you in with those guys. So it was miserable. Got out, went to a Nike site in Rhode Island, the three of us. We played together as the Nike men, and we got into a competition that was in that hemisphere for the big grand finale, which was supposed to be at Governor's Island, New York. So we won first place, I think, around maybe 8 times or something. It was brutal because everybody wanted to play, but we were already a band before we went in, so we had an edge. And we go to New York, and we play at Governor's Island at the Statue of Liberty.
Wow.
And the host of the show was Red Buttons, this comedian. And we're on the bill there, and it's a great kind of thing. We're staying there. We go to Times Square during the day, you know. We're there for like 2 weeks and stuff, and I wish I had some film of it. But we were called the Nike Men. So we came in, I forget, we came in maybe second or something, but that was in the hemisphere or some kind of bullshit. Anyway, we get orders. I go to Europe. All of a sudden, I look at the orders, and it says 3rd Armored Division Spearhead. And I'm going, where did I hear that before? It said 3rd Admin Company. So I called and checked and said, what is that? Oh, dude, you're going to Elvis's outfit. The 3rd Armored Division. It's right outside of Frankfurt. So I went to Germany, and I get there in Frankfurt, and I realize I'm going out to Freiburg, which is like an area where right outside of Frankfurt. Frankfurt's the headquarters. And this is the place where Elvis was. And they'd filmed G.I. Blues there, right? So I'm going, wow, I must have a connection with Elvis, because here I am. I didn't put in for this. Who would put in to be in tanks? That was a rough go, man, compared to missiles. I'd been on the East Coast with a missile outfit when I was with Carl and Jerry, the Nike men, right? So here I am in Germany, and oh God, it was different over there. Cold, had to go out to the field and everything, but I got a desk job. But I had to soldier. I had to go out in the field, qualify with weapons and all that. Make a long story short, I'm playing downtown, and this German guy named Gunter Hatz saw me play, saw me do some wild stuff on the guitar and everything. And the Germans were, the stuff they had in those days was so good in the sound, their PAs. But they all kind of stood there, kind of like the band didn't move. And I mean, I'm all over the place, because I was always used to that from being in the States and being inspired by Chuck Berry and Elvis and all the rockers, you got to doing all this wild stuff on the guitar. He says, Jimmy, you mock show. And he meant when I do stuff with my hands like this on the neck, right? And so to make a long story short, he was 19 years old, already an engineer. Spoke 4 languages, and became my manager. So I'm on the Bavarian competition. I don't speak any German at all, but he did all the talking because I was almost like an idiot. All I could really do was say good night, good morning, and I love you. That was it. So I performed and everything, and on the competition, and I won. So here I am on German radio and television, and I'm frightened because of the fact that I'm sitting there. Imagine being in there and all these people talking, you don't understand them. But yet they can speak English, but I can't speak German, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I did 2 songs, but he told me that I needed to do something by the Beatles to win, and I did. I saw her standing there or something, and an Elvis tune, of course. And I got to play at this Coliseum. I'd never seen one. I'd seen auditoriums, but not a Coliseum. And I'm up there with this German band, and when you told them what key, was key? And I said, key of G. And Gunter would say, oh, Gustav, Jimmy. Gustav. Oh, okay, Gustav. So I get up there, and I just saw all these people and everything, and they just went wild. They were already in that mode. You know, they'd already started experiencing the nostalgia and the Beatles and everything, you know. So before I left, I never got his phone number. I was always stupid about stuff like that being young. And he gave me that album that I showed you. He lived right across the street from Elvis, because Elvis lived in Bad Nauheim. Remember, Elvis had left in 60, and I'm in 63, right? But he had all these pictures his girlfriend took, and he took, and he put them in that album that wasn't complete yet. Elvis had signed the top and gave that to me as a going away present. But I never contacted him again. And I just wanted to go home, you know. I was lonely for the States. I wanted to go back and see what my life was going to be, because I thought, what am I going to do when I get out? Can I sing and play again or what? You know. And I'd always done the concerts before I left until I, you know, did the nightclubs and got caught. In between there, I'd be doing these shows and everything. But when I got out of the Army, everything went to more nightclub thing. And that's how I got into the Pandora, you know, that part of the story and everything. It was clubs mainly, you know, but it wasn't like the Garden of Valor anymore, where I could go out on a Friday or Saturday night and be on the bill with some big name that I saw on American Bandstand. That didn't exist anymore. And then I missed the shows with the girls screaming. Because when I was on with Jan and Dean, you know, or any of these shows, the girls were there. They were just ready. Could go out and play. It was so young. The whole scene was so young. The girls would just scream and grab at you and everything, and I'd be looking at them and going, all I got to do is 3 songs. I'm going to go out and check some of this out. You know what I mean? This is what an atmosphere this is, right? But the only time, and I'll share one last thing that got me into performing was, I swear to God, this is true. I'm at the Newark Pavilion with my dad's band. And I'm sitting in with them, and I'm doing Rip It Up and another Elvis tune, and they're backing me up. And this is what really gave me this is before Bill. This really gave me the injection. I went up, and when I walked off the stage, the whole backstage area, there was stairs going down. And at the foot of those stairs, it was packed with girls. And there was like, it was almost like I couldn't believe it. My mom was terrified. They got a hold of me and started to rip. And that's the only time that ever really happened to me. And my cousin David was there. My cousin Dave Steve was there. And it was like, my mom was horrified, you know, and they took my shirt and they ripped it and everything. And I'm going, oh my God. Because the cops came. The security came, and they had to, but they weren't supposed to be backstage. I didn't think I know they were screaming in the auditorium, but I didn't know they got to that backstage area where it was, you know, I was up on the stairs, but that didn't last, because whenever they came up the stairs, they got me, and one on each arm, and I was flying off of that. And I have to say, that was one of the most wonderful experiences of my whole life. Yeah. And after the Army, I never experienced that anymore. So I had to give up something, you know. I wasn't Elvis after all.